Death Note is directed by Adam Wingard and it stars Nat Wolff as Light Turner and Willem Dafoe as Ryuk. He did amazing as Ryuk, by the way. This movie is classified as a dark fantasy horror film. There were a lot of criticisms between the changes of the live action movie and the source material, but we have to look at this because here's the thing with people constantly saying it didn't follow the book, it didn't follow this, it didn't follow that. Sometimes when people say that, you have to actually ask them if they know what they're talking about, because sometimes I think people are just saying that to say that, you know? They'll see like 1 or 2 episodes and be like, oh, hey, yeah, it didn't follow it, I didn't like it. And they don't give you a compelling reason why, like a certain example of a scene or the way the character looks or abilities a certain character should have or whatever. You gotta watch with those people. Some of those people will just say, hey, it didn't follow the book, it didn't follow this, it didn't follow that. So getting back to the movie itself. Now when it comes to narratives, if it stays the same, let's say, you know, the characters, they have the same abilities, they have the same purposes. The reason for them doing the certain things that they do, from animation to the movie adaptation, that depends. Because if you're watching the movie and the movie is well formulated, then it's a good movie. But just because, let's say for example, if a character has the ability to kill someone and he's killing people. And in one narrative, in one piece of work, he's doing it because he's a psychopath, he wants to. And in the other, he's doing it because he just wants to save the world, or somebody is pushing him or influencing him into it. Either way, he's still doing it. So, you know, that's kind of up in the air between the fans of the original works, the fans of the movie. Now, going through the movie, we start off with Light Turner doing a lot of homework, or I think it was take-home tests for a bunch of kids. And the next thing you know, the book falls out of nowhere. The Death Note falls out of nowhere near him, and he picks it up and starts to read it. But what he notices, other than the rules, because there's many rules in there, but what he notices is other people's handwriting. And a fair warning from somebody, I guess, who had the book before him saying, don't trust Ryuk. Now, there are a lot of rules, so I'm just going to reiterate 1 or 2 or 3 of them. There's a rule that says that as soon as you write someone's name down in the book, you have to have their face, too. It just doesn't take a name. You have to have their face in your mind while you're writing their name. Now you have to determine how they die, and it has to be, it has to be physically possible. Going back to the rules, basically you're only allowed to burn 1 page. Like let's say if you write somebody's name on a page and you change your mind, you have to burn only 1 page. You only get 1 chance at that. The keeper is only allowed to keep the book for 7 days. If the keeper does not kill at least 1 person in 7 days, the book will find a new keeper. Other people are allowed to write in the book, but you are the keeper, you're foremost responsible for it. You can also manipulate people with the book, but you only have 2 days to do it, and you have to make sure they die, because if they don't, they'll know everything that you've done, and they could probably go to the authorities and, you know, get you caught, or worse. From that point on, we find out that Light is the type of person that likes to get revenge. But he also just wants to eliminate the bad people of the world. Now, here's a question you can ask yourself when it comes to something like this. If the Death Note was in your hands, would you keep it in your hands and kill somebody once a week just so you could keep it in your hands and not fear what a crazy maniac would do if they get the book? Because Ryuk is not just the angel of death in this movie, or a death. He also influences you to do it. To you know, he says if you don't like that bully, you want to kill him, you want to stop him, things like that. So you have to watch out with Ryuk too. He's not just a person in the middle here. He'll get you to do some stuff. Now, moving on, the movie just basically becomes a fight to survive, but not to survive because people already know who you are and what you're doing. A fight to survive so that way you could keep them from figuring out who you are, because you're trying to be the world's superhero. And you'll see what I mean when you watch the movie. Now, the actual formula of the movie works well because it establishes in a very good way the first act, the second act, and the third act. It doesn't convolute anything in between. Sure, it fast forwards through a couple of things because, once again, this is an 1.5-hour movie. They have to condense certain things, of course, but as long as you get the overall narrative of what's going on and you get the idea and you know where it's going, the movie does a good job with that. Now, for my fanboy grade for Death Note, I'm going to give it a B-. The reason why a B minus, because of the fact that I too know the source material. Not all of it, but I do know it. And I know the things that they changed probably would have made for more, not more exciting movie, but more insightful in a way. That's just my point of view on that. For the justice grade, I'm going to give this movie an A minus, simply because it was well put together. It established characters. You cared for those characters. You understood the narrative. You were riding along with the narrative. And Willem Dafoe as Ryuk, they couldn't have picked a better person to play that character, honestly, in a live action interpretation. So that's it. That's my review for Death Note. Hope you guys liked it, and hope you guys join me next time. Until then, stay enthusiastic.